Well, welcome. Namaste, beautiful, beautiful, and precious souls. Welcome to Book of Life. The Sound of the Coming Light, third degree, lesson 22, the last lesson of the third degree. Man, it's been an incredible experience. Fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. Got a couple more people in. So this is going to be a good one because we get the little initiation at the end, and we have, because it's November, we have the November blessing. So it'll be nice and powerful tonight. Very, very nice. Hope you're all ready. Hope you're all seated down so that you can relax, absorb, and assimilate. Okay. Well, without any further ado, we will invoke. Go ahead and place the tip of the tongue on the palate. Just relax. Be nice and receptive. Nice, slow inhalation. Nice, deep exhalation. Cut, 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 cut. All unauthorized connections, we release and let go. To the causal logos, the supreme being, to the great architect of the universe, Heavenly Father, Heavenly Mother, to all our great teachers, to Holy Master Choa, to Buddha Padmasambhava, to the Circle of Seven, to Robert and Erlyn Cheney, to Master Astalea, to Lord Katumi, Lord Rama, Lord Zoser, to the Astarian hierarchy, to the Lord Yehoshua Bar Miriam, the Lord Christ, to the Holy Mother Mary, the Lord Kuan Yin Buddha, Lord Gautama Buddha, to all our celestial guides, our angel guides, our higher souls, oversouls. We humbly invoke for your divine blessings. May we be a channel through which thy holy ones approach the world. May we be a center for the radiation of thy power. Teach us to travel light, that we may better gain the heights, break the bonds that bind. Teach us to give ourselves entirely to thy will, to attune ourselves to thy will. Teach us to lay down the small personal life for the greater cosmic life and to love with the love of God in full faith. Om Tat Sat Om. Okay. Third degree, lesson 22, the last lesson, the sound of the coming light, the new body. Both Christ and Paul spoke of a resurrected spiritual body, not as a miracle, but as a natural phenomenon. Yet we are still left to ask, in what body are the dead raised? Despite both Jesus's and Paul's assurances of life after death in a resurrected spiritual body, traditional theology has utterly failed to grasp the plain spiritual significance of their doctrine. They speak vaguely of the earth, earthy, and of the rising up of a reconstructed physical body at the sound of the last trumpet on Judgment Day. Around such teaching, theology has stumbled blindly into a morass of contradictory entanglements. In the dense fog of doubt and confusion, it has lost sight of the life, teachings, and sacrifice of the Christ, as well as many other great spiritual teachers. Occasionally, a mystic or teacher appears to discuss the symbolic or mystical meaning behind these words and concepts. Verily, I say unto you, he that heareth my word and believeth on him that sent me hath everlasting life, and shall not come into condemnation, but is passed from death unto life. John chapter 5, verse 24. Verily, verily, if a man keep my saying, he shall never see death. John chapter 8, verse 51. Note that whenever verily is twice repeated before a statement, as here, its literal meaning in the original Greek was an emphatic listen, listen, or pay close attention. Therefore, we know in what importance this truth was held by the great teacher. Literally, he was saying, pay close attention. This is important. He who lives my teachings shall never experience death. There is a natural body and there is a spiritual body. It is sown a natural body. It is raised a spiritual body. Corinthians chapter 15, verse 44. In the transition, the soul assumes the spiritual body, which becomes invested with enhanced attributes. It is not less, but is greater than before. How much greater is measured by one's striving to live out the mystical teachings of the Christ, of the Buddha, of Mother Mary, of Moses, of Isis, of the great master teachers. It is sown in weakness, it is raised in power. But what power? Thus we teach not heresy, but simply affirm what Christ and others laid down as our common heritage, life, eternal life, learning to fly. Now Zoser explains your period of general teaching is ended and you can be given answers to the questions crowding your mind. He inquires what you would like explained next, what specific subjects on your journey to earth to be near the loved ones you have left behind, and during your sojourn in borderland. You observe spirits using varying modes of locomotion. Some simply walked, others, incredible, rose into the very air and went soaring off like a glider. The art of flying, you declare to Zoser, is the first thing you wish to learn. I would like you to explain how I can manipulate this new body to soar into space, as I have seen you and others do. Until now, I have walked much as I did on earth. What law is at work that I must master? How can I learn to fly? Let us walk to that city, Zoser will answer, and on the way I shall teach you many things. And so it is that learning to fly becomes our pursuit in the last lesson of Astara's third degree. Recalling communications I myself have received from those gone over, I can remember with great amusement the descriptions offered by some who were adjusting to the other world. They described how, in the beginning, they felt all arms and legs unable to move with any degree of grace. It is similar to one suddenly discovering oneself on the moon where so little energy is required to move. You may find yourself taking a broad jump leap. Imagine your astonishment. When you meant to walk only a step, it requires time to adjust to such mental energy reactions. How the mind moves the body. Mind is still master. Zoser explains that when we first arrive on the astral, we usually move by means of feet and legs, just as we did on earth. We discover that even this simple act is accomplished by the power of will. Here on earth, we move our bodies by a subconscious action of the will. It requires mental effort to rise from a chair and walk. It is mental power holding insensate muscles to its rule. The same relationship between will and bodily reaction exists in our newfound life. As we gain proficiency, we learn a new method of momentum by mentally creating a harmonious relationship between the new body and the magnetic currents sweeping through the higher atmospheric spaces. There are invariable tides of magnetic currents encircling our Earth's atmosphere. When science learns to map them, the air age will become a reality. Then, in the same manner that birds use currents of air to aid their flight, our airships will take full advantage of the swift-moving electricity of the Earth's magnetic fields. The Australian in the next world finds that his or her form, like the birds, can be raised by a direct exertion of will. Thus, one makes sympathetic contact with subtle magnetic currents and rides these airwaves to accomplish movement in the astral. Electricity penetrates and permeates every physical substance. Being an omnipresent principle, it is the medium through which Australians see and act upon physical objects. But the electricity of the higher spheres differs from that which is exhibited in our dense physical plane. it is finer and more spiritualized. There it becomes an omnipotent principle. The Australian discovers that by employing certain mental levers, one's astral form nullifies the gravity of the astral plane, glides into space, and travels forward according to mind force. One develops the art of making the form compatible with atmospheric conditions, much as do birds of our earth. Eagles soar into the wild blue yonder, exercising an instinctive knowledge of air currents and gravitational suspension. Australians have shed the gross form, share a similar instinctive knowledge. Though the Australian possesses no wings, you learn to conform to certain laws of motion through the power of will and attunement with the tides of magnetic currents. This knowledge enables you to ascend into the astral atmosphere and eventually master the art of traveling with incredible speed. How do birds fly? By the motion of their wings. They fill their bodies and bones with electromagnetic energy. Through the vibration motion of their wings, they build and discharge electric currents. They frictionalize the air as they glide through it. Since their feathers are non-conductors, the collected energy is not easily exhausted. Is electronics a new science? Astral bodies operating outside the effects of Earth's gravity nevertheless employ electronic principles. Movement is not with wings, but with a charged auric force field directed by willpower. One does not automatically fly through the ethers. One travels mentally via mental wavelengths. Just as the pilot of a glider seeks to ride the air currents, so does the astral traveler seek astral magnetic currents. The Australian learns to fly the astral form just as the pilot learns to fly the glider. The astral form is composed of a high degree of electromagnetic particles which respond to the frequency of their wavelength. A high degree of concentration and mental imagery or visualization is necessary to glide these aerial waves, and it is not easily accomplished until one becomes master of it. It is a misconception to believe that spirits can go anywhere instantly through anything, traveling like thought. It is certainly true that our minds can fly from one side of the universe to the other in the flash of a second, but just because we can think of places widely separated, it does not necessarily follow that our thoughts actually travel over the intervening mileage. Our thoughts usually traverse only the spaces of our memory of such localities. Then they fly from one point in space to another in thought dimensions. They do not enter the outer world to actually penetrate the intervening distances. In this sense, thoughts are confined to the interior departments of the mind. Does mind require a spirit body? It is quite wrong to conclude that because thoughts travel so instantly from place to place, spirit travels upon the same principles. Thoughts travel via electricity and magnetic currents, true, but spirit forms are not composed of mere force. Their forms are a combination of elements, principles, and force, and although the forms can manipulate space at incredible speed, time is still consumed and intervening space must be traversed. Some travel almost as swiftly as a wish can be formed, a desire to be in a certain place. Others, having not yet perfected this mode or developed the mind and willpower necessary, must seek a slower fashion. Time, space, and motion transcended. The unobstructed world of Australia is interfused with our own obstructed world. Here we are restricted by many things, mostly by solid matter. We must go around, over, and under solid objects. We must devise methods of getting from here to there without running into them. Space restricts us. We must walk, run, ride, or fly from place to place, and a great deal of effort is spent devising means of traveling faster. Time restricts us. Our pursuits and accomplishments are measured by the time allotted to them, and much that we hope to do cannot be attained in the duration of hours, days, years of our lives. Even thoughts and speech restrict us. what tragic frequency do misunderstandings arise because a word means something different to one person than another? How much is lost because of language barriers? Much of the unseen, unobstructed world lying all about us is an exact counterpart of our own world. The natural laws of our world are only extensions of the natural laws of their world. Our world operates through the laws of time, space, and motion, which are only extensions of their laws in receptivity, conductivity, and frequency. And these interrelated laws of each world are related to evolving consciousness. Are all laws extensions from on high? Time in our world relates to sidereal equations, the passing of our planet from space to space around the sun. But we partially control it by our psychological concepts, in that we tend to personally measure it in terms of our accomplishments. It passes swiftly or slowly in terms of our happiness, success, failure, discomfort. Therefore, it relates to consciousness. In their world, time as we know it is no more. It is replaced simply by being and controlled by thought. Activities are not measured in terms of the Earth's passage around the sun. Activities are measured in terms of how one thinks of it, the activity. We experience such measurements in dreams when we encompass vast spaces of time and numerous adventures in a sequence lasting only a few moments of our sidereal time. Thus, their time, as it relates to them personally, is also interwoven with consciousness. We innately sense an awareness of their time in that we each instinctively know that we shall always be. There will never come a time when we are not. Thus, we evolve in consciousness according to our receptivity, not according to any set measurement of time. Thus, the essence of time is receptivity. As to space, even here in our world, we have come to think in terms of time rather than miles. That the distance between Los Angeles and New York is 4 hours at present is universal knowledge, but few know how many miles of space lie between. So we have already begun to adopt their laws of space. We think in terms of space-time and not space-distance. How consciousness deals with time and space. Without awareness, no advancement. Science measures space as the distance from one object to another, from one point to the next point, from one person to the next person. Over there, space is covered by the distance of one consciousness to another consciousness. Two people over there can think of each other, send their consciousness toward each other, and meet in consciousness halfway without ever having moved from their locale. They are there in consciousness. Over here, we remain in our homes and on television or computer, watch an event occurring in London, Berlin, or Tokyo. We are there by telecommunication. The mechanism of the television or computer has conducted the sight and sound of the happening to our awareness. Thus, space is eliminated. The event is not only transpiring in England, Germany, or Japan, it is happening here in our living room before our eyes. To actually be there, we must instigate some motion. We must go from here to there through space. Time passes with no action or effort on our part, but space can be covered only by motion. Consider that the journey between Los Angeles and New York has been considerably reduced in time, while the space, the actual distance of 3,000 miles, has remained the same. Then consider that over there, they have reduced the journey to the time required to be there in consciousness. We can quickly accept that while the transcontinental journey once required long, weary months by covered wagon, the same space can now be covered by jet in a matter of 2 to 4 hours. One enters a plane in Los Angeles, naps a short time, and awakens in New York. There has been no awareness of space. Over there, traveling is connected with the consciousness. The willpower, and is accomplished by a mental television or computer transmission through their airwaves via a mental conduit which harmonizes with their personalized sight and sound and heat and electricity. They are wherever they wish to be by means of the essence of space, conductivity, and the motion is accomplished by means of the personalized, arrested frequency of the consciousness. Because thought is perpetual motion, the rate of motion is in ratio to the rate of frequency expressed by the individual consciousness. This is a complicated way of saying that over there one travels by thought according to the vibration of one's evolved frequency or consciousness, just as radio waves travel according to their frequency and pass via conductor through all obstructions. Over there, consciousness establishes its own frequency, and one travels with the speed of a radio wave. Like the electromagnetic waves here, which carry the happenings of a distant city into our homes via television or computer at the moment they are occurring, in consciousness, Australians are wherever they wish to be with the same speed. Over here, we are steadily erasing our obstructions through scientific advances. Air and space once were obstructions. We could not go through air except by passing over the surface of the earth. The airplane erased that limitation. Little by little, we have reduced the time required to journey the same distance. Little by little, we move toward the astral world. Our time, space, motion concept changes yearly. We have said that time, as we know it, is non-existent over there, but time exists in the other world. Time exists wherever there is sequence. As soon as the soul begins to analyze in the consciousness, sequence begins. With sequence comes the passage of time. Deep, deep within oneself, one may eventually find the silent place where all things seem to exist simultaneously, past, present, and future. Each seems to fade into the other in that inner deepness within the self. When one arrives at that state, possibly, it could be said time is not. But the moment sequence begins, time begins. As soon as one becomes conscious of things or attempts to unite with things, time begins. True, it manifests in a different way relative to space than we experience in our world, but time does pass, and sequences are met and analyzed, and things are dealt with. Thus, time exists subjectively in that subjective inner world. Thus, when I say time and space have been annihilated, I mean time and space as we know it. It must be understood that time does exist for Australians. Space does exist for them, and also motion. When we say they travel with the speed of thought, we still must realize thought processes consume time and space and motion. How fast can you think? Thoughts concerning a person or a place may be said to be inconceivably rapid. Nevertheless, time is consumed. And space. Does spirit possess substance? Certainly there is space. A spirit is not a thought. A spirit is a person with bodily substance. Like every other body, space is indispensable to its presence, and a measure of time is required to move from place to place. To think otherwise is to become victim of a common pitfall. When we say they have annihilated time, we speak comparatively. When we say space is conquered, we mean they can occupy space already occupied by material objects. They have simply transcended our time and space. But they are real and solid and substantial. And although time and space mean something else to them, they still must reckon with their relationship to their lives. Those which we call the laws of attraction, repulsion, gravitation, are but names of specific motions as they relate to our world of matter. The substance of their world responds to similar laws. When the infinite becomes the finite, time passes into eternity and space into infinity as a dewdrop is absorbed in the sea. But just as the dewdrop is not annihilated, only absorbed, neither is time nor space annihilated. They are submerged into a new reality, a new dimension. When I say that a spirit can traverse from one point in space to another point in space simply by thought travel, I only mean this, that over there, if I am standing on the summit of a hill and decide I should like to be on another in the distance, my journey is so swift, I am hardly aware of time consumed or space travel. But it certainly is erroneous to think there is no time or space in this unseen country. Etheria and its various planes have magnitudes and proportions. They have qualities and properties. They have diameters and rotations. So for a time, we leave the astral program with Zoser to master the art of travel via consciousness and airwaves, while we turn our thoughts earthward again to commune with you, the Astarian, on the earth plane, who, with the completion of this lesson, ends the journey of Astara's third degree. Robert and I, your teachers, welcome you, initiate of the third degree, as a new member of the Hermetic Lodge of Light. Long has been our journey. Now we pause to clasp your hand and welcome you as an initiate into the Society of the Masters. On the following pages, you will find a tribute to your accomplishment, an explanation of your spiritual status, and a welcome to a greater spiritual fellowship. The sound of the coming light. The spiritualized ethers of the higher spheres are already descending into the shadowy ethers around our Earth. The planet no longer stands poised on the brink of the new age. Already it has moved into the force field of Aquarius. Gradually, the new ethers are merging their light with the dull airwaves of Earth's outer space. Already humankind reacts. Like an alerted totem animal, humankind has lifted its head and stands, listening, hoping to catch the echo of an approaching sound. It senses a faint stirring within. It exhibits a restlessness for change, but knows not what the change implies. We think to find soul satisfaction in scientific achievements, computers, jet travel almost as fast as time, incredible engineering feats, satellites that conquer space, but we find that these only increase our cosmic loneliness. The more we attain, the more we desire. Is eternity the secret of unrealized effort? If only we can diminish travel time between continents, that goal will satisfy us, we think. Reaching the moon, we long to soar to Mars. Reaching Mars, we gaze toward far-flung galaxies in the vastness of space. We seek to find other people on other stars. Ah, then, that will surely assuage the search for something beyond. As soon, we think, as we overcome disease, no more will we dream for greater heights. But we can then crave the fountain of youth. Regardless how wide a territory our material world encompasses, always our soul listens for the sound of the coming light, and like the shining mists of morning dew, the light atoms pierce the atmospheric rivers of our world. The dark fog of our ignorance begins to pale under the magic breath of a new beginning. In the forefront of the emerging spiritual army of truth seekers stands the Astarian initiate, girded with the power of personal convictions. You face undaunted a world changing from chaos to cosmos. And you need be no more afraid. Your truth-inspired soul, looking to more worlds than one, will help the rise of the new world and the new human life wave from the ashes of the old, as the entire human family adjusts its spiritual vision to focus upon wider horizons of the coming light. Instinctively, Astarians realize that initiation is the pivotal event in spiritual progress. Perhaps you do not remember passing through initiatory gateways in your outer consciousness, but inwardly, you know you have attained. You realize that your mind, previously submerged in shadows, is beginning to unfold like a lotus under the descending rays of a new knowledge. You have made the great living principles of truth an indigenous part of your spiritual constitution. You are aware of the pyramidal heights of your awakening intuitions, the enlightened person's view of religion, the coming religion. Within the expanding self, many Astarians enfold all religions but embrace the dogmas of none. You realize that Methodist and Muslim alike are subject to inspiration. Baptist and Buddhist alike are heaven-bound. You conceive that the religion of the new age can never be organized, as are the fundamental and orthodox religious bodies of today. It is based on the idea of a free-flowing thought movement of spiritual conceptions adapted to the individual's needs. Although the New Age religion recognizes generally known spiritual principles, such principles cannot be encompassed into organized methods or rules. Like the mind, such conceptions cannot be squared to a set method. The only part of the New Age religion that can be organized is that portion which pertains to material necessities, but one cannot organize inspiration. One may as well attempt to organize space or time, or the wind. The true basic principles transcend the limits of materiality, and it is the challenge of each individual to attain his or her ultimate spiritual unfoldment. Do organizations create truth or transmit it? Organizations are made by people. A spiritual organization, such as Astara, may organize for certain purposes and place spiritual connotations upon that purpose. But the whole of Astara's concepts cannot be condensed into an actual organization, for it is the religious concept of communion of soul with soul. It is the touchstone from the altar of infinity. It is the conscious mirror of reality, and though it may be imitated, true reality admits of no substitution. Such a religion or spirituality is older than organizations or pastors or popes, for such a religion encompasses the God of truth enthroned within humanity. Organizations may lay the pathway to the fountain and may even reach the fountain itself, but no organization can be the fountainhead, for truth is a moving, living substance and cannot be compassed, about to stagnate. Organizations that create creeds and dogmas build a barricade around truth, and truth will burst the dams and flow outward to all humanity. This is one reason why Astara, as an organization, will flow with truth into the boundaries of the New Age religion. Astara does not bind Astarians. Astara and Astarians alike flow with the tide of truth, reaching ever outward for newer concepts, for broader pathways, for wider portals. And Astara, never claiming to be the fountainhead, has always remained humbly open to the tides of wisdom from on high. Such an organization becomes a living, flowing current in tune with, but never totally encompassing, truth. Astarians have long since dismissed prejudice against mysticism and have sought to unravel the foundation upon which mysticism is built. When materialistic dogmas universally fall and the whole of humanity embraces the concept of life after death and communication between the two worlds, then posterity will certainly view the scorn and hostility heaped upon the pioneers as another dark blot upon world progress and the history of discovery. Unless one wishes to be placed on the side of the bigot and the prejudiced and add one's name to the list of the enemies of progress, one should listen calmly and weigh carefully the concepts of the new doctrine. Those who fought hardest against the evolution of mysticism and those who shouted loudest that such concepts were blasphemy may be among the first to exclaim, "I always secretly thought so." In the dawn of Aquarius, the fall and destruction of rigid and dogmatic theology will come about so swiftly, and the rise of mysticism so subtly, that it will have permeated mass consciousness almost before the world as a world has been able to grasp the change. But persecution of the mystics has all but ceased, though some who wish to keep control and power over others will continue to fight against this awakening. Nonetheless, The voice of the mystic is heard and heeded throughout the land. Your new perspective. As you, the Astarian, progress into the mysticism of Aquarius, you become increasingly aware of the godness of everything, the divinity all about and within you. Seekers, when praying, often inquire within themselves, to whom am I praying? To what am I praying? Always they know they are praying to God, yet God seems too abstract and at times so impersonal. It is only when the consciousness opens to a wider reception that a true realization of Godness is attained, either on earth or in heaven. As the mind expands, it becomes more aware that all that is God. From the stone to the boulder, from the candlelight to the distant star, from a dewdrop to the cascading Niagara, all that is God. Many who seek to feel the wonder of the infinite being on earth often attain a fuller realization of the higher spiritual planes because they are closer to the source. Inasmuch as you have done it unto the least, you have done it unto me. Matthew chapter 25, verse 40. Such a conscious expansion gives life an entirely new meaning, whether on earth or in heaven. Such a soul cannot look anywhere without seeing God. You see a part of God in every face. You hear the voice of God in every river. Often on earth, one becomes so absorbed in trying to find God that one fails to see the Mother Father existing everywhere, especially in one's fellow beings. When the disciple finally becomes aware that God dwells in the heart of every person, then every person becomes more precious. For you realize you have found another part of God when you see God shining in someone else's heart. Unseen guardians attend you. He shall give his angels charge over you. When an Astarian earnestly reaches for aid in attaining spiritual goals, you are never left to struggle alone. Every soul coming to earth has appointed a guardian angel whose task it is to influence that soul toward accomplishing his or her mission. But when that soul, in addition to performing mundane duties that fulfill that mission, turns his or her thoughts towards spiritual aspects and seeks to unfold personal attributes for illumination, the guardian angel is always joined by others who consider it the highest privilege to help the seeker gain the summit. Every guardian guide and teacher was once incarnated in physical form. They have all worn corporeal organisms. They have walked upon this or some other human-bearing planet, have experienced the vicissitudes of earth life, have laughed and wept, have known defeat and delight, joy and sorrow. Having passed through the transformatory process we call death, they can find no greater honor than being selected to guide the incarnate disciple who sincerely seeks the light of spiritual illumination. They are chosen by the celestial guardian angel who may have overshadowed the disciple for many incarnations. The most fervent hope of those who inhabit the spirit spheres is to pierce the veil between the two worlds to bring to earth the message of immortality. So universal is this burning quest, they hail with enthusiasm every effort made by Earth's seekers to become channels for that light. Also, helping a seeker prove the presence of the unseen, guiding that seeker in spiritual affairs, is the highest service they can render from their side of life. And the reward is to gain for themselves further advancement in higher spiritual spheres. Having departed earth with its tedious necessities for livelihood, they turn their best efforts toward cultivating spiritual talents, the highest of which is to return to earth to help seekers of earth unfold faculties, enabling them to prove the truth of afterlife. Therefore, Astarian, be assured that your spiritual efforts are well attended from the other side. The moment you placed your name upon Astara's membership application, the signal flashed through the higher planes that another seeker approached the path of initiation. Forthwith, there was formed a group of worthy teachers, best suited to harmonize with your particular aura, best equipped to guide your singular purposes toward spiritual fulfillment. As you progress through the lessons, occasionally members of your guiding staff may have been replaced by others from yet higher spheres as you yourself gradually attain greater heights of wisdom and understanding. Having attained celestial heights, they can behold you from where they are in your meditations, in your hours of Astarian studies, in your deepest slumbers, during your daily occupation, and project pure and beautiful sentiments into the depth of your soul. And when they observe your troubles or dangers or see your need of help in tribulation, it is reasonable to anticipate the flow of spiritual assistance from their higher homes. And often a protecting guardian, watching the moment the disciple's soul will admit it, projects into that disciple's perceptions a current of divine elements, which at once reveals not only the errors of the present course, but directs the disciple's thoughts toward higher prospects. And thine ears shall hear a voice behind thee saying, "This is the way, walk ye in it." Isaiah chapter 30, verse 21. A seeker who diligently pursues spiritual studies cannot help realizing a sharpened awareness of spiritual forces. The physical senses have corresponding spiritual senses, though or through which we perceive the unseen. We hear the thoughts of the teachers from the depths of the air. We see their forms and faces so vividly in our inner consciousness, we wonder that they are not seen by others. So anxious are the inhabitants of the spheres to impress the truth of their reality, and so close and seemingly obvious is their influence, it seems incredible that human beings continue to repulse all efforts to rend the barrier. The masses are overwhelmed by the most suffocating skepticism. It's unscientific, cries the scientist. It's the work of the devil, professes the fundamentalist. It's hallucination, explains the psychologist. It's fraudulent, exclaims the skeptic. Consequently, when the unseen strive to manifest in our natural world, they are deprived entrance and relegated to the realm of silence. Skepticism and superstition are the legitimate offspring of ignorance and theological error and tyranny. But the time has arrived when the scales of blindness are falling from human understanding. Those most advanced in perception and intuition demand better answers to the mysteries. Spiritual truths are gladly received and philosophically interpreted. The two worlds draw ever closer, preparing to meet on the middle ground of mental freedom and progression. It is the struggle for which you came, not attainment or failure. Immortality is yours. Therefore, initiate of the third degree, rejoice. Even in adversities, you are now compassed about with the enfolding arms of the invisible divine family. Once one has become part of such a fellowship, even the struggles of earth life take on new meaning. Never forget that this is what you came to earth to meet, the struggle, the challenges. Remember that when you were on the inner planes, you thought frequently of the thrill of returning to an embodiment so that you might once again face the challenges, possibilities, struggles, and opportunities only the earth world offers. Try then to understand the importance of the moment. Regardless whether you are experiencing failures, disappointments, or joy in attainments, remember that it is the struggle itself that strengthens the soul, not the effect of the struggle, whether failure or success. Learn to live every moment of earth life to its fullest, while your inner mind prepares for the long stay on the unseen after departing earth. Try to understand that most of your frustration and the causes of your anxiety are really trivial in a sense. You came to earth to strengthen your spiritual muscles against the resistance of matter. Think of the inner joy realized by the champion swimmer who battles the density of the water. Oh, what joy would winning be if the swimmer experienced no resistance? You have come to earth to win a battle. Your opponent is matter. You are here to conquer matter, lest it conquer you. You are here to learn how to mold matter mentally. Winning a battle against matter requires a valiant willpower. but win it you will. I have fought a good fight. I have finished my course. I have kept the faith. Paul and Tim, chapter 4, verse 7. You have not come to earth to struggle against other people. Your real opponents are conditions. When you fight others, no one really wins, for what is gained by being the victor in a physical or emotional battle? But when one comes to grips with conditions, one builds an inner strength and power. The strength with which you won a physical combat soon vanishes, but the inner strength with which you win against conditions only grows stronger. These and other ideas you have now incorporated in your inner knowing. For 3 degrees, you have climbed the slow road, waiting, hoping, praying that the summit can be won. And you have now attained the heights. 1,000 unseen hands now welcome you to the Hermetic Lodge of Light. Hail, initiate of the 3rd degree. You have attained the goal. Long have you walked the way. Many were the hours spent in your quest for the light. Steadfastly have you persevered, and now you have attained. You have passed through the portals of the Lodge of Light and have taken your place among the initiates of the ancient mystic fellowship and family of light. You have made a giant step for all humankind. Never does one soul attain without drawing humanity upward as well. Few are there who reach the summit. Many are called, but few attain. Welcome, initiate. Do you realize what your initiation means? Do you realize what liberation means? You have now come to the place in your soul's evolution when the choice of returning earthward is yours. You are freed from the bonds of compulsion. No one need urge you now to seek the light. You are the light. Hail, Nestarian. Around your neck now hangs the ruby cross, symbol of the 3rd degree. Wear it not pridefully, nor with piety, but with honor and quiet humility. All mystics of the unseen fellowship salute with reverence the initiate of the ruby cross. You have now joined their ranks. Your future years on earth can be filled with an ever-moving power, carrying you always toward a peace that remains stable, even in the face of adversity, and toward a wisdom that transcends matter. Blessed are those who call you friend. I don't know about you, but at that last, after I said welcome initiate, did you feel like the goosebumps, the crown opening up and the energy coming down from that initiation? That was powerful. That was powerful. They're watching, they're looking, they're seeing. This is so incredible. I love this path and this journey, and I'm so grateful that you're all on it with us. All right. Before we end, because it is November, you guys survived Halloween and all the candy, and now you're ready for Thanksgiving and all the food. Well, we will start with a November blessing. So just go ahead and be receptive to all those that we have invoked to. May your consciousness be endowed with the qualities of harmony and composure. May the peace which passeth all understanding become an ever-present attribute of your life and help you acquire the serenity of eternity in each moment of time. Tat so, tat so, tat so. The affirming meditation. Let the essence of divine love permeate our being and flow through us into the lives of those around us. Let us be a focal point where heaven and earth are joined as one. Blessed are those who call you friend. May these blessings physicalize into every cell, the space surrounding every cell. Namaste, beautiful, beautiful, precious souls. Thank you so, so much for being on this journey and for completing the first, second, and third degree. We will see you in 2 weeks for the beginning of the fourth degree, and we'll see you tomorrow for the blessing of the prayer petitions, hopefully. Have a beautiful day, morning, evening, wherever you are. And thank you so much. Take good care. Namaste. Thank you.